Welcome back to Late Night Scrolling, the Canadian pop culture podcast hosted by me, producer Liz. We've got so much going on. If you can't tell by the sound of my voice, this episode was supposed to come to you a few days ago, but I totally lost my voice, could not podcast for you guys. And now I feel like I'm at a place where you're not going to unsubscribe hearing this grainy tone of voice. I hope not. Thanks for rolling with me, gang. It's always so much fun trying to get these episodes out to you. There's always a new adventure every week. But this conversation, I am so excited to bring you. We're talking to Devin Cooper, Alberta country rock star. He is such a phenomenon. You can catch him at the Calgary Stampede. He's playing 3 shows, and he has a brand new single out, Memories That Made Us, which I genuinely think is going to be on the top of the country charts this summer. We're going to talk about it in this episode, but it really is the kind of country song that you're going to be ripping around the back roads to. If you have a summer road trip, it's going to be on your playlist. I was so happy that he wanted to come on the show and have a chat. We're going to talk all about the song, the shows coming up, and his extensive guitar collection, which if you're a bit of a music nerd like I am, it was so cool to hear what he's playing these days, what he's recording with. You're going to hear all about it. Enjoy the episode. You're one day off before you go do everything from touring to festivals to, I don't even know. Your schedule looks insane to me, man. How are you going to manage the next month on the road?
It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. It will be definitely very busy, but I'm looking forward to it, and we'll just hold on for dear life.
Hold on for dear life feels like the vibes, right? Are you someone that gets energy from being on stage and being around people and kind of getting the music out there? Or are you someone that's like, I love it, and I also need to be alone for 12 hours on the bus afterward?
No, I definitely love being on stage with people and in the room. That's what keeps me going. I find that if I don't have shows, I get a little stir crazy in my head, and I need to get back out. It's like my own version of therapy or something like that. It just keeps me going.
Oh, I feel that. And it must feel different, like when you're able to give the music to the people that love it and not just sit with it and hope that I can't wait for the day it comes out. I can't wait for someone to hear it again. Must give back all the energy that you put into recording it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really fun to see the crowd response to new songs. A lot of times I'll be playing new stuff that hasn't even been released yet at shows and, kind of gauging the crowd and seeing what people think of it. So I'm looking forward to doing a bunch of that coming up here as well.
So speaking of the unreleased music, by the time this comes out, everyone will hopefully be streaming this incredible new song. I want to talk about some of the memories that made you, because it seems like these lyrics are not just like your generic country song lyrics. It seems like maybe some of your stories are behind the lyrics of this song. Is that safe to assume?
That would be safe to assume for sure.
Amazing. Let's get into it, because there are some deep cuts in there that as I was listening, I was like, okay, this feels like Canadian summer on steroids. Maybe starting hot with the refilling your parents' liquor with water so that they don't know you drank it all in the basement.
Yeah, that was I feel like every kid did that, but maybe that's just a small town Alberta thing.
I think every kid has done that. I'm from the East Coast. That's a rite of passage growing up.
Yeah, literally. I mean, the song is about just growing up and all the things we did growing up, having fun with my buddies. I always had old trucks. My buddies always had vehicles, and we'd literally just rip around and do dumb stuff. And a while ago, I was back at home, and we'd pulled out all the old family tapes and videos, and we're looking through everything, and just got me thinking these memories that we're looking back on are literally what shaped who we are today. And it's how do we try and capture that in a song?
I love it. And it's so true, especially growing up in a small town. I grew up rural Nova Scotia. There's a limited number of things to do. So you do them because that's all there is, going for a drive, going to the same 3 parking lots. But then you grow up and it's nostalgic to go back to those parking lots and go down the same roads and be like, man, we had the time of our lives on these streets.
Totally. We sure figured out a way to do a lot with nothing to do. That's definitely true.
I love that. That's the perfect way to put it. Speaking of you and your buddies ripping around in your cars, there is a lyric about fixing your first car specifically.
Yeah.
What was your first car?
My first vehicle that I got when I was 16 when I was driving was a 1985 Chev Blazer, and it had a Corvette engine in it, and it was a lot of fun. Burned a lot of rubber. Thankfully didn't get any speeding tickets.
Wow.
So managed to not get caught doing any of that, which was great. But yeah, my dad has a motorcycle shop and a hot rod shop working on old cars and building motorcycles. So I was always working on things, fixing on stuff. And yeah, I mean, I had another truck, a 71 GMC, and I blew up 2 motors in that truck.
Oh my God.
Uh,
That's crazy. On
Having
the
too much
same
fun.
roads as the
So
Corvette engine?
yeah, same
Oh my
roads.
God.
So still running around Innisfail in central Alberta. And yeah, blew up 2 motors in that. Took the rear end of a couple things, and yeah.
I love it.
Always had
That's
fun.
so classic Alberta summer to me. Like, just especially like I don't know how much you've driven out east. I know you've played at Cavendish, so you get a little bit of the vibe of we got windy, narrow roads out here. So
Oh, yeah.
the way that we rip around the roads here is very different from flat Alberta, where you can just go forever and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Alberta's a big long straight shot in the back roads, and see how fast you can get going in a straight line. Less carving the corners and ripping around like you would be out east.
Absolutely. So much fun. Oh my God. I think that like driving around in the summer with country music on is the staple of a Canadian summer. Like it's something that everybody does. Turning on country radio, not just streaming, but actually turning on like whatever Sirius and the charts are playing is so classic Canadian anthem. And I think that this song is going to be one of those songs that people turn up the radio when they hear, because it is what we're all spending the summer doing.
Yeah, literally. Well, I hope that's the case. That's how it feels to me. And I'm excited for everybody else to hear it. And now that it's out at this point, I'm excited to hear what everyone thinks of it.
Oh my God, me too. I'm going to be blasting it over here. I'm going to be ripping down the narrow roads. People are going to be like, oh my God, that girl in that song again? Okay.
I love
I'm also
it.
excited to hear your live version of this song, because I think that your stage show is so interesting because you do really lean into the rock side of your rock country. So have you given any thought to how this song might live on stage with you, and what kind of twists we might have up our sleeves when we hear it live?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually just did a rehearsal last week with a band and worked everything up for the first time, ran through the tune, and it's actually going to be a lot of fun because the live recording was just a live band on the floor when we tracked it. So we get to kind of replicate that live, and then we can, stretch out solos and make moments for the crowd to get involved in, and it's going to be fun.
Like the back half of the song when you've got those like repetitive, like the chorus anthems, and it's just I can envision it. I think it's going to be fun to hear it. I'm going to have to get out to a show. So you have one of your
absolutely.
3 Calgary Stampede shows. Come on, that's a big book.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Nashville North, Calgary Stampede is always a blast. There's I think they increased the tent size this year. So there's going to be like 7,500 people there. And, big band, big stage, big room. It's just kind of all the things that check every box to have a great time.
What is the dynamic of Calgary Stampede compared to like other festival crowds or other crowds that you play? Because I feel like there's something specific in the air when you play to a Stampede crowd.
It's interesting because it's not just a weekend festival that's a 2-day thing. It's 10 days that really turns into a month. Like Stampede stuff fires up in Calgary in the middle of June and now goes to the second week of July. And for 10 days at Stampede Grounds, there's millions of people coming through, and it is literally just a party for 10 days. And everyone's there to have a good time. Everyone's there to have as much fun as possible. And it's day after day after day after day, and it never stops.
Oh my God, the stamina that goes into Stampede is something.
Oh, I know.
I got to get back to the gym and just start working towards making it through
Yeah,
10
literally.
days. Like it's a long festival, especially when you're playing and you're enjoying and trying to take part in everything. Like you've got a couple hats to wear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Calgary basically completely shuts down. I was talking to someone a while ago, and they were saying even if you have like a court case during Stampede, it's okay for lawyers to show up in like cowboy boots and stuff like that, because it's it's Stampede, so it's acceptable.
So if you need to pay off your speeding tickets from listening to this song and driving down Alberta roads, do it during Stampede, and
Yeah,
it will be fun.
at least there'll be good
Clear it.
vibes in the courtroom, at least. Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that's so funny. I didn't realize that was the vibe out there. Oh my God, talk about a memory that made you, going to court in cowboy boots. I feel like that's
Maybe that's the next
version.
version of the song.
Oh, good, the sequel.
Yeah.
I can't wait. The other thought I had while listening to this song is like, you just put out the deluxe version of your last album in September. So we haven't even had a proper summer with the deluxe album. And now we have the deluxe album and we have this song. Like, I feel like this is going to be the summer that you explode on Canadian radio.
Well, we can hope. I'm
excited.
It's good. I mean, we had the record come out in September, and that was a long process getting the record out, and there's a lot of singles being released up to it. So it was nice to finally kind of close that chapter and put the record out. We'll be touring the record all summer. It's obviously a major part of our show and everything that we're playing this year. And so it's going to be nice to tour those songs and play them out. But we want to give people a little nugget of something new to latch onto and also be excited about if they have already seen the live show with the record and stuff like that.
Totally. So we are changing it up for the summer so folks can come back to something new and special. I
Exactly.
love that. Although there is something special about hearing the classics and the songs that like, you love and you've had on repeat. Are there any shows for you that you've seen where it's like, I could see this show a bazillion times and it would be just as good every time I see it? I've seen Keith Urban a few times. I feel like every time I see Keith Urban, it's like I could hear these songs a million times. They would never get old.
Yeah, there's a few bands that I think could never get old for me. I've been to a lot of classic rock concerts. I've seen the Rolling Stones 4 times.
So good.
I'm going to AC/DC again here in a couple weeks in Nashville. That'll be my 4th time seeing them. And I feel like some of those bands that are just like kind of the classics,
Oh,
they
God,
just
yeah.
they bring the energy every single night, and it's some of those things. Another one would be Chris Stapleton and Kip
Oh,
Mower, a couple of my favorites in the country world. That I just saw Kip a couple weeks ago, and it was like in a tiny little club in Calgary. There's like 800 people there. They jammed him into this place, and it was completely sold out, slammed, and unbelievable.
Oh my God, I bet those are the most special shows to me when it's like small room, it's
Yeah.
completely different renditions and versions of these songs. You're known to do an acoustic set. The acoustic versions of your songs hit different than the kind of the rock leaning recordings that we get and that we get on the airwaves. What's the dynamic for you between like a great like song for radio, a rock version leaning on stage, and then what you cook up for like an acoustic set or an acoustic rendition?
I think a lot of the songs were written like stripped down acoustically. And then when we bring them into the studio, we can kind of choose production wise where we want to take them, whether that's like, a big rock anthem or whether we want to keep it, more in the country vein or stripped down. But at the end of the day, all these songs were kind of written and created with just an acoustic guitar and a couple people sitting around in a room. So to me, it's a cool way to share that kind of like inside information with everybody else. It's like
Yeah.
this is how the song was written and how it came together. And if we were to do it just stripped down like this, it's like you're sitting in the room while we're writing it.
Oh, that's so cool, man. I'm seeing those guitars behind you. Are those some of the guitars that you start these songs with?
Yeah, absolutely. These are most of my live electric guitars. Over here on the wall, there's about 15 more that are not
Whoa.
in the camera. But I have
You
a
will
couple.
need to invent a new camera to get a wide shot capturing
Yeah,
all your
literally just
guitars, I
twist the
think.
camera a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, I have a couple old acoustics that I write a lot of tunes on. That I feel like every guitar has a different story to tell and a different vibe. And when you play it, they inspire you to play different things. So depending on what I'm feeling, I'll pick something up and it'll bring something out of me that I wouldn't have played on a different guitar.
Oh, I love that. You're a bit of a vintage guitar specific collector, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything on the back wall back here. Uh, this one here is 1963. This one's 1978. This one's also 1978. And then that one's 1961.
Unreal. They're so special, so cool. Is there one specifically that you're gravitating towards right now or that maybe you gravitated to for this song?
This guitar right here, my 1963 Strat, is kind of my main number one.
Yeah.
When we did rehearsal the other day, I played it for the entire show. So normally I'm swapping out guitars, but it's more of like a visual look thing. I mean, I love the sound of different guitars as well, but that one is like my number one ride or die. It's always going to be at a
That's
show.
the signature Devin
Yeah.
guitar, the signature Cooper guitar
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
we will see. Incredible. No, it's a great collection that you have. I think like songwriters specifically have a connection with guitars that I think is like unparalleled in the music world, and it's very cool to see like how it transpires from a record to like the stage show. It's something that I watch for when I'm watching, especially country and rock musicians specifically. It's like it's not just a look sometimes. It's like, no, 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 this is the vibe for the song. It's very intentional, and it's part of the craft that I think people need to put more respect on.
Totally. I mean, each guitar has its own voice, much like each song has its own sound and voice. And, I'm going to play different things on this guitar than I'm going to play on this guitar here because they bring out different sounds. They fit, different themes and different textures. And then also aesthetically, they present differently. So,
Yeah, totally. Can we go through the ones behind your head and talk about the memories attached to each of them? Like, is there a show or a song that when you look at that guitar, you're like gone back to that moment?
well, this guitar here, the 63 Strat, has always been like my number one. I've always wanted to have one. My favorite guitar player, Stevie Ray Vaughan, used to play a 63 Strat. And so this one came up for sale a few years ago, and I actually was able to acquire it on the day that Stevie Ray Vaughan passed away, which I thought was kind of wild.
Whoa.
I didn't realize that till afterwards, but I was driving home
Spooky.
from
That's
getting
like
it.
meant to be, isn't
Yeah.
it?
This one here is one I actually brought in from Japan. It's a 1978 Greco, and I've always been a fan of like the old 50s Gibsons, and this is kind of like a copy that was made in Japan in the 70s. And it's not a $75,000 guitar like a 50s Gibson would be, but it does the trick, and it's got the vibe. It's got lots of mojo. Beat up, it sounds great. So that one is really fun. Usually when we play some ZZ Top in our set,
Yeah.
that's the guitar I pull out for that. This one here, this one there, is one I actually just built and put together. It was a whole bunch of different pieces that I'd kind of acquired and put together over the last couple of years. So the body and the neck of the guitar is from a 78 Fender Strat, but I got the neck from Vancouver. The body came from the UK, and then all of the electronics are 1960s Fender and 60s Gibson parts that I acquired from a bunch of different places and then put it all together. So it's kind of a parts caster, as you would call it.
And what made you want to build this guitar? Like, what were you looking for a specific sound, or were you like, no, I need a Franken guitar that is totally mine in this collection?
A few different things. There's a couple things on it. I have a whammy bar system on it that isn't on some of my other guitars, so that I can pull off a few little tricks and things like that live. And then obviously loving vintage guitars, there's a certain sound to the pickups and the electronics that are in them that aren't necessarily found in new guitars. So I wanted to try and find a bunch of my favorite old stuff that I could put together all in one guitar.
So cool. I so much respect for the vision. It's awesome to see it come together. Okay,
Yeah.
and the last one.
This one here, I just acquired about a month ago. It's a 1961 Gibson ES 330, and it came from an estate sale. It was an original owner guitar, and it was found in the back of the closet of this gentleman's house when he had passed away, and it is virtually brand new. It's never, basically never been played. It's sat in the case since new. And so that one is a new acquisition to me, but I think that there's going to be lots of memories to be made on that one.
Oh my God, it is ready for some memories to be made on it.
Yeah.
I hope we see that on the road. How
Yeah.
special is that? Like a hidden treasure that's now a part of the collection that's going to be a part of the tour, maybe. That's so cool.
Absolutely. And I'm excited to take all these into the studio and use them, to capture and help work on the next tunes as well.
Totally. So when you're going to Nashville, like, 'cause are you between Alberta and Nashville, or in Nashville, like full time?
I'm in Alberta full time, and I travel back and forth to Nashville a lot. It's usually every couple months. I'm down there writing a bunch of tunes. And so I was just down there in February, which is when we actually wrote Memories That Made Us. And now I'll be back at the end of this month writing some more tunes, and it's just always back and forth.
How do you get the guitars to Nashville and back from Alberta? Someone driving them with like specialty care labels on them so that they stay in one piece? I'd be so nervous to fly with them.
I usually take one guitar that's just kind of a writing guitar, little less precious than the rest. And a lot of times I actually don't even take a guitar down because there's, 1.5 million guitars in that city and everybody's got one. So when I show up in town to write, sometimes it's fun to grab other guitars and see what those bring out of you as well.
Totally. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like, there's not a guitar shortage in Nashville for sure.
No, definitely
so you don't
not.
need to fly them all out. I'm imagining you like showing up at the airport with one of those luggage corrals that's just cases of guitars.
Yeah, literally. That would be the dream, but
someday when you have a private jet and like 12,000 number one songs in Canada,
exactly,
we'll get you a private jet to Nashville. Oh, that's
perfect.
So funny. How do you put together an album? What's the science of a Devin Cooper album?
It's difficult. Putting together the songs for the Good Things Deluxe Edition record was a challenge. Over the past 5 years, we probably wrote 300 or 400 songs to pick from. And then narrowing it down to 11 songs is obviously quite difficult. And there's so many songs that I really wanted to record, but then it gets to the point where we look at, what's the story of this record and what are we trying to accomplish with this record? And I mean, Good Things was kind of all the life lessons that I learned up to that point and the things I was still learning till the day the record came out. And so we kind of had to figure out what were those songs that tell that story the best. And there's so many that we saved that are going to come out at a later date that I'm really excited about. But it was it definitely was difficult trying to pare down what songs are going to tell this story
I can
best.
imagine. It's like an NFL or NHL draft. Like, the draft music?
Yeah,
It's like you have to have a change to
literally.
be like, all right, track number 2 is going to be this. God, 300 to 400 songs is major.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's the last year was a little bit less writing and more kind of re-going through the old catalog because there's so many songs you write that you forget about. You write it and the next day you write another one, or sometimes you write two in a day. It's easy to overlook one and kind of forget what you had written. So going back through them all and, kind of relearning them, re-listening to them.
Do you ever
And
surprise yourself and go like, wait, I wrote a banger. Like, wait, that was really good.
there's actually one that I just wrote in February when I was in Nashville that I completely forgot I had even written because it was such a whirlwind trip. We'd wrote 10 songs in 8 days or something like
Oh my
that.
gosh.
And it was the last ride of the trip. I was flying home overnight and then started a run of shows the next day. And just last week I was going through tunes again and I'd completely forgot that we had even written that one. And it might have been the best one we wrote on the trip, but I
Oh my
just
God.
overlooked it because I was so exhausted.
So does that make you excited, or maybe is it like stress, like, oh shit, we really should have done this? Or is it excitement to kind of find it and then come back to it when the time is right?
No, I think it's excitement because there's a right time and a place for everything, and I think everything happens for a reason. So if I didn't remember that one in the moment, it's because it wasn't supposed to be remembered.
That's such a good outlook on it. I feel like that's such a healthy place to be. And I mean, writing one good song is hard, so I feel like it's a luxury of riches when you have many songs that you're excited about recording and putting out there.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where, you start out writing not a lot of great songs, but it's the more you do it, the more you work it. It's just like working out a muscle in your
Totally.
brain. It just gets a little bit easier. And it's not saying you're going to write a great one every time, but I think the process gets easier to get a better result.
And you have great songwriting partners. On this song specifically, you've got, I think, 2 co-writers that, I mean, the records speak for themselves that they've put together. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the 3 of you came together to write this one?
Yeah, absolutely. It was myself and Andrew Peebles and Drew Shelka. Andrew Peebles is originally from North Van, so another Canadian guy. Drew Shelka is originally from Bonnyville and grew up as a rock dude playing in a rock band. I had written with Drew Shelka quite a bit on this write, and we had actually just called him the night before because we had such a good track record with him throughout the week.
Oh
Was
my
like, "Do you
God.
want to join us tomorrow for this write?" He was like, "Absolutely." So we drove down to Franklin, wrote at his place, and I'd written with Andrew a bunch of times on the Good Things Deluxe Edition record. He's a writer on Underdog, Leave It to Chance, What You Don't Know, Want
Bangers.
Me. Yeah,
So
so
good.
4 of the tunes on that record he was a part of, and it's always a treat to get to write with him. He's such a lyrical genius, and
Totally. Well, that explains why the song is so catchy and good and why it does feel so Canadian, because you have the right people in that room thinking about hot Canadian summer in a song.
yeah, literally.
Yeah, they were also ripping down the roads of North Van and Bonnyville. Like, they're like, oh, no, no, we know exactly what we're cooking
Yeah,
here.
totally.
Oh my God. Well, it's been so good to hear about how this song came together. I mean, good luck for the next month on the road. By the time this comes out, I'm sure people are going to be in the comments talking about how great the shows were. So I'm just manifesting that for you. But I know it's going to be a lot of fun hearing this one live. And I hope that I can come catch a show soon and I can hear this one live, because I want to hear how you're adapting it. I want to hear what guitar you're going to play this one on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love for you to catch a show live.
Y'all, we have so much coming up on the podcast. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I've done, I think, 8 interviews this week. We have a full behind the scenes spilling the tea episode about the Canadian Screen Awards. I know y'all have been seeing all the interviews on Instagram, but I'm telling you everything that went down shooting that night. That episode's coming very soon. I'm so excited we're getting into these summer episodes, because summer pop culture in Canada is when we are working at our highest rate. Like, we've got shows coming out, we've got things in production. There's so much to talk about. I think we're going to have to start doing more frequent episodes, because there's so much I can't just jam it into one episode for you guys. So make sure that you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss an episode. And thank you to everyone that's reviewing the podcast and subscribing on Apple Podcasts. It means so much to see our show climb up the charts every time we release an episode. I love you guys so much. This podcast is so much fun to make for you. And I'm excited to just keep bringing you Canadian pop culture stories, because we've got a lot coming your way very soon. So I will see you back on the pod on Saturday, maybe sooner. Who knows when embargo is going to lift on some of these? I'll see you then.